What's up? It's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and today is December 1st, so I figure it's a good time to talk about my team for the U.S. Men's National Team December camp. So yeah, it's going to be a very different looking team. Only American-based players for this camp. American, not MLS. That's called foreshadowing. And so yeah, no European players, so it's probably going to be a worse team, and compounding that, we're probably not going to we're probably going to call in late players who are in the conference finals for the MLS. Guys from the Philadelphia Union, New York City FC, Real Salt Lake, and Portland. So yeah, not going to be the strongest team, but we're going to be going up against a Bosnia team that is definitely not going to be full strength. This isn't a FIFA window, so I can't see guys like Dzeko or Pjanic being released. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting camp. How I see this camp is it's going to be a good opportunity for some young MLS players to get a chance to prove themselves after it's very hard for them to get a chance. We don't have many friendlies, so all competitive games, and this is a chance for guys to prove themselves. Hopefully that's what it ends up being. I mean, I could see it very easily just being Berhalter's favorites getting into the squad. But this isn't a prediction. This is my team, what I want in the squad. So yeah, just getting into it. At goalkeeper, we got Matt Turner, Bill Hamid, and Gabrielle Celina. And if Sean Johnson ends up being a late call-in, that's fine. But those three are the guys I really want to see. Matt Turner, self-explanatory. He's a guy for the national team who's constantly called in. He's a regular. He might even be the starter. I feel like Zach Steffen has surpassed him at this point, but Matt Turner does bring a lot to this team. He's a very good shot stopper. We know his weaknesses with his feet, but still Matt Turner is very good in goal, and he should be in the squad. Bill Hamid is probably the pick I have to talk about the most with my explanation, because I feel like Bill Hamid is a keeper who could bring something different to this national team. And what I mean by that is he's somebody who plays regularly for his club, and he's impressed me with his feet before. I think last time we had this winter camp, he came in and he had a very good performance. He's building out the back really well. He's looking really confident with the ball at his feet. And if he's able to be someone who plays regularly and has the ball at his feet a lot, that's something valuable for the squad. Because Steffen, he's always going to be rusty because he's not a starter for Man City. Horvath, he's not starting for Nottingham Forest. So I feel like Bill Hamid still has a place in the team, and I want to call him into the squad because of that. And lastly, Gabrielle Celina. He's a 17-year-old who's starting in the MLS. We need to get him into the national team. I don't think we play him this tournament, especially after not the Grizz Revelations Cup, but man, he's still a very good player, extremely promising. I could definitely see him being our number one in the future. But yeah, Gabrielle Celina, we definitely need to give him some time. Center backs, going into it, Miles Robinson, Walker Zimmerman, Justin Shea, and Auston Trusty. Robinson and Zimmerman don't really need to explain. Starters or at least regulars for the national team who, we want to keep giving them minutes, keep them playing. And other two, Justin Shea, I feel like doesn't really need too much explanation. Extremely promising. Might even be the high ceiling guy out of anybody on this roster in the MLS. But yeah, very good center back, playing it out the back, extremely athletic. And when he was playing right back, he looked dangerous going forward. He's not a right back. We're not going to play him there. We saw that in the Revelations Cup. But yeah, very good center back, and I want him in the team, get him some minutes, see how he can do, because he could be somebody who could play for us in the World Cup even. So we need to give him some time now and see how he can do, just see how good he can be, because we know his potential, we know how good he's going to be. Right now, we just got to start bringing him to that level. And Auston Trusty, similar to Bill Hamid, I want to bring him in because I feel like there are things he offers to the squad. Like, there's not really a point of bringing in like Henry Kessler or Donovan Pines, who are just worse versions of Walker Zimmerman, basically. But with Auston Trusty, there are a couple things I like about him. One, he's left-footed. We could use more left-footed center backs, never a bad thing. And also, he's very good at playing it out of the back in the MLS. And he's also pretty athletic in the MLS as well. And I want to see how that translates to a national level. Because we've seen guys like Walker Zimmerman where pretty good at playing the ball out of the back in the MLS, but at national team level, no. But I want to see how Auston Trusty can do. I feel like he's earned that opportunity from the Colorado Rapids, and they had a very good season, won the Western Conference, or regular season Western Conference. And yeah, I really want to see how he can do, see how good he can be. And yeah, just give him that shot. Next, going on to fullback, and we got two guys at right back I want to talk about. Kyle Duncan, who's probably going to be the starter because Aaron Herrera, the other guy, is arriving late. Kyle Duncan looks very good for New York Red Bull. He's been going forward well, defending well, shows a lot of athleticism, and a lot of promise as well. He's going to be going to Belgium this winter, and I could see him becoming a very good player. As he breaks into the squad over guys like Scaly and Dest, even someone like Yedlin, probably not at the moment, but I could see him getting there eventually. So Kyle Duncan, we definitely got to give him minutes. and Aaron Herrera. Aaron Herrera is somebody who's been really impressive this season. Possibly the best right back in the MLS. The only reason why he's not starting for this team is because he's going to be arriving late because he's been doing so well. And man, I hate how this federation penalizes players succeeding, but it just kind of is what it is. If Kyle Duncan gets the move to Europe and he doesn't start right away, he's definitely not going to be called into a national team, even though he's going out to improve himself, which, I mean, it's fair because you understand it, but, it sucks how we penalize players for doing well. But Aaron Herrera, very good player, man. He's looked really solid defensively, and honestly, back in March when we had those Olympic qualifiers, I thought he was outperforming Julian Araujo, and when so many people were just upset about Julian Araujo leaving the national team, I was just I'm not too upset about this. One, Dest, Scally, all of them, but I feel like Aaron Herrera's as good as him. Maybe he doesn't have the same ceiling, but he's been playing very well, and he's a very solid player, and I could see him stepping up and having a good performance. Now going to left back, and I feel like this is what we want to hear. Jonathan Gomez, we got to call him up. I'm not too sure if he'll accept, though. I feel like this is the final moment, or if he declines a call up here, it's over. We give up on him. And even if he does accept, it's only a friendly, so he's not cap-tied. But we definitely got to call him up and attempt to bring him in. Now, the other two, I'm going to go two because I'm not sure Jonathan Gomez accepts the call-up. George Bello and Dwan Jones. Now, Gomez, we know about him. We know how good he could be. He's been dominant at Louisville City. He just won Young Player of the Year. George Bello, he's been looking very good at Atlanta United. Atlanta fans seem to think that he's going to be moving on at the end of the year. I've seen a couple of rumors, but I could definitely see Bello moving on. And Dwan Jones, he's another guy who's been linked to Europe. He's had a very good season for New England Revolution. He's a defender who's got a lot of athleticism to cover ground, which could be a big help if maybe we need him to cover for somebody like John Brooks. Our left back position is kind of weak, and I feel like he is probably better than Bello at the moment. Bello's younger, probably has the higher ceiling, but I could see the argument that Dwan Jones is better than him, maybe even better than Sam Vines. So he's somebody who could potentially be a backup left back for us. Should we not want to play Joe Scally or Serginho Dest there? So yeah, I want to give Dwan Jones a chance and just see how he can do, see if he can impress. Now going into defensive mid, and this list was originally a lot longer. I think the team actually ended up being 23, but this list was a lot longer. I didn't want to bring in only a limited amount of defensive mids because I feel like it's a position that's kind of weak for us. I wanted to test a lot of players, but a couple of injuries happened. But so yeah, for the defensive mid position, Kellyn Acosta, he's been a regular in the national team, and we want to continue to give him minutes. Even if we don't feel like he's a long-term solution for us, we do have to think about the short term as well. Leon Flach, I want to give some minutes. He did go down for the Philadelphia Union, but it appears to only have been a knock. I think he'll be back for the next game for them, and I feel like he'll be ready for the camp, though he will be a late arrival, but with him having a knock anyway, I don't feel like it's that big a deal. And Johnny Cardoso. So for those players, Acosta, very solid defensively, can come in late and break up counterattacks, but he brings nothing going forward, except he's surprisingly good on set pieces, which is kind of valuable for us. But yeah, he doesn't bring anything in attacking moves, so yeah, you want to replace him, but at the moment we don't really have anybody who's climbed that backup six role. I think Tanner Tessman has a very good chance of becoming that, but he hasn't proven it yet for Venezia, but I feel like that moment's definitely coming, probably before the World Cup. Now, Leon Flach is someone who I want to call in because I honestly think he's just as good as Kellyn Acosta, and I really don't see a reason to not give him a chance. At the Philadelphia Union, he's been playing very well. He does the same thing as Acosta. He puts out fires, breaks up counterattacks, and he even pops up with some goals. He can cover fullback as well, just like Acosta, and I feel like he's somebody who is just as good as Acosta, has potentially be even better. Now, he does have the same weaknesses as Acosta, not very good on the ball, and can really struggle with attacking play, but he's young. He has a chance to break out of that, and I really feel like when you watch him, you see a lot of potential. Like, when he's playing with the Philadelphia Union, he kind of hides from the ball, but if we give him a chance to really, get on the ball for, a full season, I really am interested to see how he develops next year, because I feel like he can be a great player. And Johnny Cardoso. Now, he's someone in the Olympic qualifiers back in March. He didn't really impress me. I honestly thought Andres Pereira was looking better than him, and he's someone who could have been called up as well, but he's still a dual national, so I just want to go with Cardoso because, he has a lot of potential. A lot of people who are watching the Brazilian League are really impressed by him. So I want to give him that chance. This is what the camp is for, give players chances. And yeah, he could be a very solid defensive mid for us. I feel like he's got the ability to cover ground, connect passes. He just has to improve. And if that improvement comes, he could be very good for us. He could be another guy like Tanner Tessman who can go into that backup 6 role and be very good for us. So yeah, I definitely want to bring in Johnny Cardoso. So next, we're going into attacking mids, and I want to go with Caden Clark, Alan Soñora, and Georgie Milholovich. Caden Clark, been very impressive for the New York Red Bull. Man, he's going to RB Leipzig for a reason. He looked great in the Revelations Cup. Great on the ball. Has a lot of energy, bringing pressing. Very good in the final third. And especially since he really recovered from, I think it was an appendectomy earlier this year. No, not tonsils. I think it was his tonsils. It doesn't matter. But since he's really recovered from that injury, he's been back to his normal form, and he's been looking great. So you definitely want to bring in Caden Clark, and I'd honestly start him. Alan Soñora, similar to Johnny Cardoso, they're going to be available because South American leagues, I feel like they're on pause right now. I didn't double check right now, but I'm pretty sure they're on a break. So I definitely want to give Soñora a chance. This is mostly down to MLS players really lacking creativity, which I don't know. I feel like that seems harsh, but it's kind of true, especially with MLS lifer type players. So yeah, you definitely want to bring in Soñora, give him a chance, see how good he can be for this. He's been very impressive in Argentina, and I definitely want to give him a chance because he could be someone really good for us. And again, this is what the camp is about, giving players chances. He's been popping up with goals. He looks very good dribbling, good on the ball. I want to see him with a chance in this national team. Georgie Milholovich, I'm honestly probably going to be playing him as a winger if I was. That's probably where he's going to go, but man, he's been dangerous for Montreal. And he's just come back from an injury, went into a new team, and the manager that brought him into that squad left. With all those situations going against him, Milholovich excelled. Probably the best American midfielder in the MLS this season. He gets a ton of assists, a ton of goal contributions, and man, I really want to see how good he can be in this national team because I was impressed with him when he was at Chicago when he was a lot younger. And part of me had kind of given up on him before the season, but man, he impressed, and I feel like he can bring that strength to the national team, and I feel like he'd be very good for us, and I want to see him give him a chance. So now going on to wingers, I mentioned that Georgie Milholovich is probably going to play there, and winger is kind of a weak position for MLS guys again. I think all the guys that I'm going to name, you could argue, aren't natural wingers, but Cade Cowell, Jordan Morris, Kevin Parody, and Georgie Milholovich, as I mentioned. So Cade Cowell, man, he's been great for San Jose this year. He can pop up with the goals. Man, he's looked really impressive on the dribble, and he's just a freak athlete. He's one of those guys that if we can develop him technically and bring him to that next level, get him really good on the ball, making the right decisions, he's someone who could be just amazing. And his potential is through the roof. Him, Pepi, not surprised that he's going to be in the squad. Justin Che are probably the guys with the highest ceiling on the squad. Clark and Gomez as well, but top 5 guys with ceilings in this team, and somebody who could be really impressive. Jordan Morris, he's somebody who I want to give that chance to because he's somebody in the MLS who I feel like can still contribute. And he did try to take that chance to go to Swansea this season, so he's definitely somebody who is looking to improve himself. But we have to see how good he is coming back from the injury, see if his athleticism is still there, see if his instincts are still there, because he could be a short-term solution for us. My thinking is almost all of our wingers are injury-prone. I mean, knock on wood, but Pulisic, Reyna, Tim Weah, they've all gone down with injuries a lot in the past. So having winger depth is definitely good. And with someone like Jordan Morris, he's somebody who could be a short-term fix. He's proven himself in CONCACAF before, so should we have a lot of injuries, I wouldn't be mad at calling him up as the backup, but he has to prove himself, and I feel like this camp is the time to do it. And lastly, Kevin Parody, man, he's an extremely promising player. You could argue that his best position is left back, which is honestly even better for us, but a left-footed attacker, him like Mihailovic, that's a very good attribute to bring to the team. We don't have many of those. So yeah, I definitely want to give him the chance. He's looked very good for DC at a young age. He's popping up with goal contributions. He's very good technically. Defensive work rate's obviously there. So someone who could be really good for us. And honestly, as a winger, he's been better than Ariola for DC United this season. So yeah, I definitely want to bring him in. Lastly, we got the guys up top. 2 number 9s and a number 10. I want to call in Ricardo Pepi, Daryl, Dike, and Jesús Herrera. Ricardo Pepi, he's the national team number 9. We're just calling him in to keep him sharp. before the season, like, he would expect, like, oh man, if we call him in from the December camp, that's really good. That means he's probably earned himself some minutes, like, give him a look. No, we're calling him in to keep him fit, keep him, like, sharp, because he's our number 9, and we need him. We can't afford for Ricardo Pepi to not be at 100% right now, so we definitely got to call him in. Daryl, Dike, man, we got to call him in because he's been so impressive for Orlando. Maybe the best striker in the league since his return from injury. He's been, man, like, the physical attributes that he brings, I feel like he's got a lot of potential with his hold-up play. Man, he could be a great player. Like, I'm so upset that we kind of stopped calling him in after the Gold Cup because we were clearly playing him through injury. And, like, man, it's impressive that Daryl Dike was able to do that. Like I said in my Gold Cup recap, like, he showed a lot of heart, and that really impressed me, that tournament. But, like, we have to stop playing guys through injuries. Like, we got Pulisic hurt, we got Reina hurt. Like, we definitely gotta chill with that. But man, Daryl Dike, really impressive. And Jesús Herrera. Now, I'm calling him in as a 10. If we play him, we're going to be playing him as a 10. Because as a 9, I don't think he's a top 5 MLS American striker. Like, if we're calling it 9s, I would have gone with someone like, maybe like a Brian White, maybe even a Yazi Zardes over him. But as that 10, Jesús Herrera can be very strong, and I want to see him give him some minutes in the team. And I just want to give us a look at as a number 10, because we're not playing Brendan Aronson there. We're not playing Jesús Herrera there. I feel like it's something who could bring a lot to our team. Like, just playing a 10, it could be very helpful. So yeah, that's the squad. It's about a 23-man team, just, depending on, like, the George Bello / Dwan Jones, maybe if you want to call in Sean Johnson. So yeah, that's the squad I want to go with. Guys who miss out due to injury, Aiden Morris of the Columbus Crew. I was hoping he'd be back for this, but it really doesn't look like he will be. One of the long list of 6s that I would have liked to bring in, but doesn't look like he's going to be available. Same with James Sands and Keaton Parks. They both picked up injuries before the playoffs, or during the playoffs, so not going to be available. And Aaron Long, we have to see how he recovers from injury, but I don't think he's going to be ready for the camp yet. And I'm not going to be calling in guys like Leggett, Roldan, Zardes, Ariola, Jackson Ewell. I don't feel like they are good enough for the national team, and I'd rather give chances to players who could be good enough for the national team. This isn't even me, like, not calling up MLS lifers. I'm calling in Jordan Morris, Kellyn Acosta, Walker Zimmerman, Matt Turner, Bill Hamid. But I feel like those are guys who can actually help the team. I don't feel like guys like Leggett will be able to help the team. So for the actual games, I'm probably going to... I'd like to give everybody minutes, except maybe not Slonina, because I feel like we're not going to be able to play 3 goalkeepers, and I'd like to give Bill Hamid a chance. But if we're going to be playing everybody, I feel like what I'd like to start with is Matt Turner in goal, Walker Zimmerman and Miles Robinson at center back, Kyle Duncan at right back, Jonathan Gomez or George Bello / Dwan Jones at left back, depending on if Gomez accepts the call-up, Kellyn Acosta at the 6, and with him being there as a defensive player, I feel good at releasing Caden Clark and Alan Soñora at the 10, or at the 8s, I should say. As wingers, I want to go with Georgie Milholovich on the right, allowing him to cut inside, Cade on the left, allowing him to cut inside, and Ricardo Pepi up top. Then the second half, I like to transition into a 4-2-3-1 with Bill Hamid in goal, Justin Che and Auston Trusty at center back. See if those 3 are able to build out pretty well, because if they are, that's going to be kind of huge for the team. George Bello or Dwan Jones at left back, Aaron Herrera at right back, Johnny Cardoso and Leon Flach at dual 8s, Jesús Herrera at the 10, Jordan Morris on the right, Kevin Parody on the left, not inverting them because we're going to have Daryl Dike up top. I feel like floating across to him is probably a good idea. So yeah, that's the team for this December camp that I want to bring. Man, let me know if you got somebody you disagree with, someone you want to bring in. But those are all guys I want to give looks to. Hopefully they all accept. Team's probably going to be bigger than this. Team's probably going to be a lot worse than this, to be honest. But guys I want to give looks to. And yeah, that's all I've really talked about today. See ya.